we're live.
We are live. Lee,
what's up, man?
I got just one quick question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a city's narrative change in a matter of a few days from what was once considered Ratlanta to now Sacklanta?
Are you trying to jump into Falcons first, like actually first?
I don't know why we wouldn't. I tell you what, if there was ever a week to do it immediately, it's now.
Let me see if I can find that for you. And I was just telling you in pre-production, this song just popped into my head, and I just felt like it was so relevant for what we're doing today. And I just wanted to play it.
Welcome to Atlanta, babe.
You never been to Atlanta. Because we got a new Atlanta right now. They tried to say we was Ratlanta, but we went up to Minnesota and we said, no. Give me that. This Sacklanta. Walk in your trap, take over your trap. You know what I'm saying?
Lee, I feel like you just missed the opportunity here with a little bit of Lil Yachty. Because it get cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota,
Well,
you need to stay up out them streets if you can't take the heat.
I don't.
That's what we're saying to JJ McCarthy.
I mean, golly, man. Let me turn the music down. Come on, Samuel L. Let's get this. When the Falcons come out and have 5 sacks, we're catching picks. We're forcing turnovers. We're flying around. We only give up 6 points. We're
Guys, here's what we're doing. We're gonna run the piss out of this football.
Hey,
I got you. We're getting ready to run the piss out of football. Time to get going. I got you.
That soundbite's not even supposed to be there anymore. But the way we just ran the piss out of the football with Bijan, with Tyler Algier, the defense flying around, getting pressure, but not just getting pressure, getting home. It's a new Atlanta, and I'm excited.
The offensive line making me take back everything that I said about them last week.
Yeah.
Look, we'll improve Zach Robinson's score, but I still really wish we would have aired it out. But I get it. It wasn't necessary this week. It wasn't necessary. So
I'm not gonna improve Zach Robinson's score yet because
I will. If he got an F last week, I will still give him a D. He passed, obviously. You know what I mean? He didn't fail this week. So I'm not giving him a great grade or anything, but he did. It was better. This game plan worked. How about that? It worked.
So if we're doing a game by game grade, yes, he gets a better grade this week.
He gets C+, because we still didn't. I don't know what to say. Van Ginkel was out. They did have some guys out, but that doesn't an excuse for them to not be able to stop the run at the end of the day. But they did have some guys out on their defense. But they were at home. They were hyped up. They were 1-0.
Can I finish my Zach Robinson grading?
Whoa. Go ahead.
Trying to give a guy a grade. But no, if he made a C this week, you know what? His GPA is still a C. If he's a C student, it's still a C because of the F last week and what we saw last year. But more importantly for me, we're not airing the ball out. And I love that we did come back and run the ball. And I know week to week, team to team, it's going to be different how we execute. But as somebody on the outside looking in, you don't have certain confidence, especially when you have these scoring opportunities and you're not scoring. We're getting in the red zone and we're walking away with 3. It's not like we're kicking Brandon Aubrey 60-yarders. We're kicking 40-yarders, 39-yarders. So the offense isn't executing inside the 20, and that is still problematic. If we're not going to make the big plays to get the touchdowns, or at least get us down there and punch it in. If we're gonna 3 yards and a cloud of dust it all the way down, well, we need 3 yards and cloud of dust it all the way in, or then open up the passing game in the red zone to try to get those opportunities. But his inability to be able to tie together his entire game plan and leave the fans with confidence in the offense, even though it worked, you're still subpar.
Yeah, and again, like you said, if he had a C, his grade would not help get him past out of a C as a weighted grade. Like it wouldn't change anything. It's just like if my daughter comes home and they tell me that she got a yellow face, right, or a red face, but then today, she did get a green face. For the week, she still is not on good terms yet, as far as I'm concerned. She showed improvement, but we still got what? Well, now we're on day 3, but just as an example, if let's say she didn't have school Monday, as an example, we got more days left this week, so we would have to figure that out. And with him, in order for us to really come to a true consensus here, it's going to come down to how we grade them on these first 4 games. Because last year we were 2-2, right? After our first 4 games, we're 1-1 right now, and then after the first 9, which is now the new de facto halfway point of the season, we were 6-3. So. You got to put it together for all 4 quarters, and I was just proud of the defense. Let me not say I've never seen it. I can't recall the last time, all 3 layers of the defense showed up. Devon Diablo?
Yeah.
Dog. He's – God, I hate to say it. Is he this year's how when Philly got – who was his name? Zach Braun?
Zach Braun?
Yeah. Is he going to be that for us? I feel like he's on his way to being a Pro Bowler and that type of impact player from a position that not that we never got production out of it, but it just felt like, whether it was Ellis, he would get hurt, or, you don't draft Nakobe Dean, and you've always got an injury there. It just always felt like we could never put it together because Nate Landman was really good in the position too, honestly, when he played. But this guy seems a little different. Still, maybe the steal of free agency. I mean, obviously Leonard Floyd did his thing. Yeah. Billy Bowman's looking like a Pro Bowl slot corner off rip.
Xavier Watts
getting involved. Obviously, James Pierce Jr. doing really what he did last week, but this time finally getting back there and getting him down. Really on 2 different times. I know that they only credited him for half a sack for the game, but it felt like he really had like 2. We're not even getting into the damn good dog. He got his first sack as well. Man, just I don't know. This is getting shades of 2016 to me.
Shout out to Brick. He's not doing what he did his first time in Atlanta. He's not doing what he was doing in New York. He's getting way more creative with his fronts, his coverages. And we saw this coming in the Tampa game, but we just didn't get home. We had the blown coverage here. Baker converts on 3rd down there, and bada bing, bada boom, we lose.
Yeah.
But in this game, the defense put it together. We turned them over. We overcame our turnovers. And instead of just getting penetration to the backfield, we were getting sacks. Instead of just getting penetration in the backfield, we were getting tackles for loss. And we were also making them bounce it out. But when they bounce it, they may only break for 7 as opposed to 17 or 27. The Falcons were used to.
Yeah, the Falcons were used to, and I had to bring it up here real quick just so that we could look at it. And first of all, how can we forget about John Parker Romo? Because even though we did kick 5 field goals, which is kind of a negative, hey, we made all 5 too. Yeah. Look, I celebrate these type of victories because, if that was Younghoe Koo, people could say what they want to say. I think Koo would have missed 1 or 2 of them. And that's just being honest. I really do. And when you give that type of momentum to the crowd, they get juiced up. That's how you still lose games. You do lose games that way. Maybe the defense would have still held them to 6 points, but who knows? The field position would have been better. I mean, there's like a lot of different things that come into play when you look at that type of stuff.
And they're calling their offense differently. We may start calling our offense differently, where we're playing 4-down football instead of playing 3-down and kick. It changes so many things when you aren't confident in your kicker. And then when you're not confident in your kicker, or you go into the game plan saying, hey, guys, on 3rd and long, we're playing for 4th and short. The kicker's not confident going into the game either.
Yeah, exactly. And, in what world, Lee, if we spoke about this in advance, if there was somebody that a time traveler came to us from the future, and they said, hey, my boy, Michael Penix is going to go 13 to 21 for 135. He's going to have no touchdowns, no picks. Good luck. And then doesn't say anything else to us. What would you have said? I would have said, oh, shit, we must have got our doors fucking blown off.
Yeah.
We must have got our doors fucking blown off. Not this time.
No.
Instead, you run for 218 yards on 39 carries. Just dominate the game. And I think a part of it, too, was not only because they couldn't stop us, but obviously it was obvious early on in the game. We had said this because we were on the phone, obviously.
Yeah.
Shout outs to, I guess we were on the phone with Justice for one part and then with Mr. Turner for another. I don't really remember. I just remember I was getting tequilas over there at the book. Shout outs to the fine people at the Aria. But one of the things
we got to spin back on that.
Yeah, we'll get to the fight later and all that other good stuff. But like one thing that we did notice was that Mooney and Drake London, they were probably a little bit more hurt than I think that they were letting on. And because early in the game, we were like, oh, Drake London must just be, straight up a decoy.
Yeah.
Like, and he ended up salvaging it. He got 3 catches for 49, which I feel like all of them came in the second half.
No, he had the one in the first half with the fumble.
Yes, you're right. And that was actually the big one, but he did fumble.
Yeah. Because we were in field goal range.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's okay. Again, we win the game.
And it was a solid punch out. It was a good defensive play. He wasn't careless with the ball.
And it's a linebacker.
Yeah, linebacker right there. Good hard punch on the football. You hate to see it, but if you're an objective football fan, it's like, good play defense. Yeah,
and that's all we can say. But obviously, defense balled out, special teams balled out. It's the most complete Falcons win that I have seen. Because I don't want to even count like certain games. I think that just in terms of the last time that the Falcons were on the road on prime time and held somebody to 6 points, I couldn't tell you. And
Falcons
but I'm just but it like just off the top of my head, the only thing I could think of remotely close was us maybe at home on Monday night against Peyton Manning and the Broncos. It was Peyton Manning's first road game as a Denver Bronco, and we picked him off 3 times in the first quarter. But like outside of that, I can't recall. It's been a long time. So it just feels good to finally be able to, I don't know, see a dominant defensive performance and for us to be able to possibly have a new nickname like Sacklanta. It's exciting. I picked them up in fantasy, obviously. I'm sure everybody saw that. But
and Sacklanta's so fitting because, City of Atlanta talks about getting a sack. You're talking about money.
Yeah.
Talk about other people in Atlanta who like to get the sack,
Yes.
Kung Fu Kenny.
It works a lot of different ways.
Yeah. It's very fitting to the city.
Yeah.
What did you take away from JJ McCarthy? One of my bigger takeaways was, and going back to Brick, I was worried about what was going to happen in the second half with Jay Jettas after AJ Terrell got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And again, going back to the concern with the field goals and Zach Robinson, when you got Justin Jefferson on the other side, he can go for 5, 180 and 2 tubs, and he'll have 3 in the 2 tubs in the second half. You know what I mean? So you're fearful of that, especially when you lose your top corner. That's why you want to get 6 instead of 3. But he was pretty much a non-factor. He had the big catch in the second at the end of the first half to set up the field goal, and 2 other catches. I think he was like 3 for 66 or something like that. But
man,
they weren't close.
I just remember them getting off that damn field almost every time. I mean, it felt like every time I looked up, we were getting them off the field. We were putting JJ on his ass. It was dominance. Like, I mean, anyone that watched that game, I know I would get on Twitter a little bit and see people were like, man, this game is boring.
Yeah.
And it was like the complete opposite for me. Like, maybe it's because it's our team, right? So maybe there's the subjectiveness there, but like
3 for 81 on Jettas, my bad.
I mean, yeah, but gosh, he got like 50 It felt like 40 something on that play. Like,
yeah.
I just, man,
What about the quarterback? What about the quarterback?
And let me tell you too, especially being at a sports book for it,
Uh-huh.
the way that those people in there was a group of guys on the end that they had money on the Falcons, obviously. But I had my gear on.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lot of people that were just groaning every time. Like every time JJ's getting put on his ass or it's 3 and out or whatever. Just a lot of grunting, a lot of grown men that just seemed unsettled because they look like they put their mortgage on JJ McCarthy to win a football game after he just showed you for 3 quarters. Like, God, this guy is kind of rough, And then he does have that fourth quarter, but I think that's more indicative of the Bears, which we'll get to them once we go around the league. But yeah, man, just overall, just proud. It was. I can't think of another time where I've had this much confidence going into a game this early in the season with our next opponent, obviously.
Same. I wasn't impressed with JJ McCarthy week 1. I know he had the comeback. I wasn't impressed week 2. We got to see what Kevin O'Connell is going to do because he's the quarterback whisperer of the league. But more importantly, what you think about them letting Daniel Jones walk out the door, and we may talk about them for a hot second when we go around the league.
Yeah,
you let Sam Darnold walk out of the door, who won you 14 games. Granted, he didn't look good at the last 2 games, but he won you 14 games. And now you got JJ McCarthy sitting here not being a professional quarterback. And even going back to his Michigan days, I personally believed in his pedigree as a 5-star quarterback and thought that he was held back by Jim Harbaugh playing winning football. But maybe he's just – I know it's 2 starts, but it's almost like what the Warriors were doing at one point. You're trying to serve 2 gods. You're trying to develop a quarterback and compete at the same time. It doesn't really work that way. Patrick Mahomes, he had his 1 year out, but he came in his first year as an MVP. So yes, you're developing him still, and he's a better quarterback today than he was then, despite the numbers. But like his floor was so high that you're allowed to develop him and compete at the same time. But nobody thought that about JJ McCarthy coming out. And there's nothing that he's shown us in 2 weeks, which again, Patrick Mahomes showed us this in his rookie year first start, that, we've got something cooking. There's nothing about JJ McCarthy that says, hey, he's going to step in and we can continue competing for a Super Bowl with him as as the starter in now year 2, but really his rookie year.
Yeah, and I just think that now if you look at JJ, you've got 8 quarters of ball now to look at. He's about to be out 2 to 4 weeks. He just missed the whole season. His narrative right now is that he's an injury-prone quarterback. Anyways, that's what I'm thinking, because he's 2 starts in and he's already injured again, and he just missed the whole year. Minnesota, in hindsight, I know that they did want to keep Sam Darnold, but Sam also knew the writing was on the wall, and they weren't going to be able to pay him enough to. He had to leave in reality, because unless they were going to sit JJ a la Aaron Rodgers style to his Brett Favre, which they're not. They weren't going to do that with Sam Darnold. It's tough, but this is why Minnesota should have maybe kicked the tires on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
because for one, it would have completed the Brett Favre arc. Let's start there. I think that would have just been entertaining in general, the idea that Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre damn near do the same thing. But 2, you knew that Aaron was only going to play for a year. He would have fit better in O'Connell's offense than Smith's offense anyways. He would have got to go back to Green Bay.
Guys, here's what we're doing. We're going to run the
Yeah. And it just would have been a little bit better of a fit. And I think that JJ could have used a guy like Aaron Rodgers as, for a true, even though he redshirted his rookie year due to injury, he could have still redshirted again.
Yeah.
And in worst case, if Aaron Rodgers was garbage, then Aaron gets benched. I mean, they did it for Brett Favre. Brett Favre got benched at the end of his time in Minnesota. They put Christian Ponder in the game. but probably a mistake within itself, but whatever.
Well, some people believed in Christian Ponder. But, as we kind of close out this JJ McCarthy piece, because we don't care about breaking down the Vikings, and we get ready to go around the league with it. Wrong one. My bad. But as we get ready to go
That's
around
what
the
she
league,
said.
words I've never heard.
Hey,
But no,
I didn't say it. She did.
but nah. What really hurt me, late Sunday night, Monday morning, Monday afternoon, as I was starting to listen to, my football shows, watching my team just have an absolutely just stunning defensive performance on primetime. We're talking about the problems with Denver. We're talking about, or not Denver, with Minnesota. We're talking about Russell Wilson throwing for 450 yards. We're talking about Lamar Jackson having a good game, but Derrick Henry not running. We're talking about Caleb Williams being the problem in Chicago, even though Ryan Poles is still the GM and they gave up 50 points. We're looking forward to Monday Night Football. It's just everything. But, we're talking about Shedeur. We got some shows talking about Shedeur Sanders being a backup versus being a scout team quarterback versus being a starter and saying no to Baltimore and then going to Cleveland. We got all these different storylines. Sometimes, and I remember back to our Super Bowl season, it took us forever to get put in people's top 10 in their power rankings. It took them forever for them to start talking about this historic offense that we were watching. And sometimes, can we just get the national media to glaze our team?
No, we can't. We can't get it because there is, for whatever reason, a narrative, whether it's the idea that, which wouldn't be false in a certain kind of way. We're not one of the big market teams. And we're certainly not one of the traditional teams, but I agree with you in a sense of, hold on, is everybody going to act like that wasn't the best defensive performance so far this season out of any team in any game? We've had 2 weeks of every team playing. That was by far the best. And I haven't watched every game, but it was. We know that it was. That it was on par with how bad Miami looked against the Colts, no doubt. Like,
hey, and a damn
we did it on the road.
A damn near rookie quarterback in a hostile environment, and we just ran the piss out of the football down Brian Flores's throat.
A top 3 defensive coach.
Yeah. Somebody who's regarded as one of the best defensive minds in the league. The architect behind the guy who stopped the Sean McVay offense in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Bill and
B-Flow.
And B-Flow, and B-Flow, he was involved in 28-3. Like, B-Flow's a guy,
yeah,
and well respected. and we can't get anything. I got to hear about Tua. I got to hear about Mike McDaniels just looking despondent at the
presser.
At the presser.
Yeah,
Mike McDaniels is going to be wearing one of these shirts in a few months, calling plays. Why are we talking? Like, let's talk about the home he's going to instead of just acting like it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. And I agree. It was kind of just like that Super Bowl year. You know what it was is it took those last 4 games for the Falcons to really get talked about. Because even the MVP, Matt Ryan wasn't really in it until those 4 games because everybody was like, gosh, is Brady really going to win it after missing 4 games? Mm-hmm. But the Falcons blow after the Kansas City game, because that was a game we should have won. Matt played really well, but literally his 2 turnovers cost us the game. Pick 6 and a pick 6 2-point conversion.
Eric Berry.
And they weren't really one of them. He made a hell of a play too. He made some great plays on. He did. No, they weren't telegraph passes. But
and Eric Berry playing against the Falcons, that game means something.
Back home, cancer diagnosed. Like, yeah, it was all set up. But nonetheless, we blow everybody out those next 4 games. Vic Beasley gets the sack. Like everything comes together at the end of that. And then everybody's like, because those numbers weren't inflated. Even at 7-5, the offense was historically great. We just were 7-5. But we close out the season strong. We get that number 2 seed. Dallas fucking wets the bed. Everything kind of aligns. We get to avenge, beating Seattle again in the playoffs. You get to avenge getting to Aaron Rodgers, and it sets up, for a perfect little ending for us there. That wasn't so perfect at the end, but yeah, but I don't think we'll ever get that national media attention that we deserve.
And the worst part about it is they don't even watch our games.
Wait until we beat Buffalo on Monday Night Football. That's when everybody will talk about us.
Because
they're going to come into that game undefeated.
I hope so.
They are. No, look, you saw the schedule.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying I hope so.
They're not dropping one of those games.
They shouldn't drop one of those games, and I damn sure don't want to catch them after they drop one of them. I want them undefeated. I don't want them to lose the week before us, because niggas might leave the top of the third quarter.
Right.
But you remember? I think I texted you, and I forgot what the analysis was that Rodney Harrison was making. But I was like, this guy doesn't watch Falcons at all. Like he does not watch us one bit.
Yeah.
Your analysis is not aligned with somebody who's aware of what goes on in it.
This was post game, right?
No, this was pregame.
So, okay. I know what you're talking about then. I saw it too. And I was thinking to myself, man, what the fuck? What is he talking about? Like, what is he talking about?
I mean,
see, I feel like we might have texted about this. Let me see. I swear we did.
Your boy Chris, he was sick up there in the booth too. Not having, like, watching a rock fight and not having a quarterback that he likes to talk about. Chris, he probably called the big guys and said, hey, don't give me this anymore.
Right. he's like, look, I get it, guys. He's like, because they were, the way that game was getting hyped up was basically national championship rematch.
Yeah.
As if they had just played in the national championship when that national championship was still, 2 years technically ago. 2 national championships ago. So I don't know. But yeah, I bet Chris, he probably pulled out a pack of cools. He talked with the head guys, and he's like, look, what's the guy got to do to get some serious work around here? Huh? What is this?
Chris, we gave you Baltimore Buffalo last week. My God. Yeah, I want some more.
He's like, I don't get what they got. He's like, I don't give a rat's ass. He's like, well, look at what I got next week. He's like, yeah, I get to talk a shit ton about Patrick, but we got 2 0-2 teams, guys.
I mean, Russell Wilson. Here's a guy.
Here's a guy who threw for 400 yards last week.
And somehow still lost his team the game.
Yeah, which I guess, we can close out on the Falcons first and kind of get to around the league. I enjoyed that game. That game was honestly super entertaining to watch. But,
yeah, it was.
And of course, I had Malik Neighbors, so it was, even better for me. But
I had Brandon.
Talk about a dog, by the way. That boy is serious.
Yeah.
He really is, though.
I mean, I had him in fantasy last year, and he was great. And maybe I should have took him this year instead of Justin Jefferson.
You guys, everybody, I got him in the second round.
I mean, didn't you have the first pick of the second round?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I picked like 4th.
Yeah, I probably should have taken him over Justin Jefferson because J.J. McCarthy is
Bunzo.
Yeah.
But yeah, not Dunzo, but Bunzo.
But I was texting you during that game, and Brian Schottenheimer, he has Dallas playing good football. They could easily be 0-2. They could easily be 2-0. Dak is looking like almost MVP Dak. CD is looking like an offensive player of the year.
They got a run game. Javonte Williams is running the ball.
Miles Sanders is running the ball like a professional.
George Pickens.
Hey, let me tell you something about George Pickens. George Pickens is turning. He's making a turn in his career because on the one play where Dak threw the incomplete, but he got hit, and it could have been a fumble. George Pickens picked the ball up and started running. And we talk about him loafing and not blocking and not running his routes. But to make a savvy play like that to ensure that if that is still a live ball, it's ours and we're advancing the ball, or even at the worst to stop them from possibly recovering it, and then they review it. And yeah, they may not give you the extra yards you got, but they'll give you the fumble and the recovery because that was still in the live period.
Mm-hmm.
No. He made sure that didn't happen. And that was a savvy move that you won't pick up on watching the game or looking at the Josh score or watching Red Zone with commercials. You got to watch football. And I really appreciated that play out of George Pickens. Shout out to Kirby. Shout out to Mike T. Shout out to Brian Schottenheimer. Whoever put that bug in his ear and whatever has this fire in him burning, probably a contract year.
I would say it's money.
Whatever it is, I'm happy to see it because George Pickens is most of what they say about him, but I don't think that affects football as much as they say it does.
He's also as talented as everybody says he is too, though.
Oh.
And you can't forget that. But B Shot, talk about the cojones on this guy. You know, I'm looking at it. I'm telling. So true story. Because I think I did tell you this maybe, right? So I'm watching the Cowboys game, and no, I'm not friends with him. He literally just happened to be there, guys. But this is a true story. I'm watching the game with Chauncey Billups, right?
Oh, yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, no, seriously. Him, it looked like his wife. I've got Demi with me. There's like a lot of stuff going on. And
okay,
so.
a little double.
No. There were other people there too, but these were the main players. And so, nonetheless, we're sitting there. There was this white woman that was sitting there too that was sitting at our table with us because she was like, "Can I just sit with you?" I was like, "Yeah." She's a Cowboys fan. She's from Plano.
Okay, a little fifth wheel action.
Sure. And so, but yeah, we're sitting there, we're talking ball, and then at the end, we're like, okay, they got to kind of throw the ball here, and then they run it with Javonte Williams for 3 yards, and you're kind of like, wow, why would you do that? Like, I'm like, yeah, I know Aubrey's got the leg, but why are we setting up to do a 64-yard? Why don't we just throw the ball and try and get it to 60, 58, 59? Talk the cojones on B Shot to do that, to run that run play, knowing that he was already in field goal range anyway. Like, oh my God.
Some of the nerds said that kick looked like it would have been.
He might have made it from 70 for real.
No, they said like 75.
Yeah.
He says he can kick from 70.
You know, he's the best kicker in the NFL.
And
I don't think it's close.
A failed MLS soccer player who decided to go out and just start kicking because his wife said, "I think you can do that," and plays in the spring league. And I think I put this in a text, or maybe I put it in the notes as a note to talk about when we got to this game. But shout out to Dallas and what their front office is doing. Yes, they don't handle the big contracts well, but when it comes to finding talent that produces in the NFL, you got Turpin, who is a starter. He's not even their kick returner anymore. He's a punt returner and an offensive slot starter.
Yeah.
They got him out of the spring league. Brendan Aubrey, best kicker in the league. Replaced Massage Me Down. You know, they got him from the spring football league. And as much as we pile on the Cowboys and the things that they do, maybe they didn't need to pay Micah Parsons all of that money based on the way this roster is functioning now. Yes, they need help on defense, but the price that you would pay Micah is going to tie up so much money that you may not be able to make the moves you need to make next year where you're actually looking to contend. Because we don't think Dallas is trying to contend this year, but based on the way they're playing, the way
they look like a wild card team to me.
Yeah. I said contend. Like that secondary is not contending for anything.
No, for sure. But we agree though, right? Like they look like a wild card team.
Yeah. You know, somebody
said like a wild card team that you might not want to play.
Yeah, no, you don't want to play them, but you can't count on them to win because you can throw for 450 on them. Russ got a career high.
Look, I get that, but you know, and that is kind of crazy to say in big 2025, Russell Wilson's getting career highs in yards. But hey, he's got two guys that can zoom. Malik Neighbors, Wandale Robinson, them dudes were moving down the field. So
Free Jalen Hyatt.
we'll get to the Power T a little bit later. What's any other super interesting game? I mean, I didn't get to really watch this game because the Cowboys game was more important, and of course Chiefs Eagles. I mean, but that Colts Broncos game,
I saw none of it. I just know that the Broncos broke a rule trying to block the field goal.
Yeah.
And it moved up, and then they made it and won. And some people were complaining about it, but it is in the rule book.
Did you just take that from Space Jam?
I did.
It's the way you said it, because who said that? Marvin the Martian?
No, one of the aliens from Moral Mountain.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because when Bugs wrote the shit up real quick before they conquered Looney Tune Land, he was like, "It is in the rule book."
All right. Great callback.
I used to say that at work, and when I knew that I was getting old, was like when I first got in the military, there would be like one or two people who would get it. But then as I was saying it in like year 10, nobody got it.
Well, everybody was just like, man, what's this nigga talking about? Like, basically. But I caught it immediately. That's why I'm like.
And I'm like, y'all seen Space Jam? They're like, yeah, I mean, like once or twice. I'm like, oh, nigga, you don't like know Space Jam like word for word?
Yeah. Well, it is in the rule book, and it did cost them a W. And now Daniel Jones is Indiana Jones. He's Danny Diamonds.
I mean, he's what Caleb Williams said he would be.
Yeah, not having his punter punt, which is something they haven't done. They're the first team in NFL history through the first 2 games to do it. Meanwhile, Caleb Williams' punter has punted more than anybody in the NFL since last season.
I mean, but Caleb, while we're here, the offensive whiz out of Chicago, Ben Johnson, played against his old team. A little get back sex.
Maybe a little get back, give up the sex. I mean, that's what it looked like to me. But I didn't get to watch that game either because the main game that was on was because that was a 4:00, right?
Yeah, that was 1 o'clock.
No, it was 1. The Dallas game was like the Dallas game and the Baltimore game is what they were playing in Alabama.
Well, yeah,
mainly they had other games on, but the sound and shit, it was for that game.
Yeah, because it's the Cowboys.
Yeah, and then Baltimore on the other. Yeah,
Vegas follows the money.
Right.
But my takeaway from Chicago is less about the game because I didn't watch it. But I struggle to blame a game on a quarterback who I'm not a huge fan of his game. I don't know the guy. When you give up 50 points, the lead story should not be is Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson the right fit. And then you talk about, Caleb looks great in the first 10 plays, first 15, but then he falls apart the rest of the game. And I'm going, okay, well, where's the coaching aspect of that? Because if you're a coach, you are supposed to coach your players, whether it's coach the bad habits out of them or coach around their bad habits to bring out the best of them. So again, I don't like blaming the second-year player. Give him blame for what he does wrong. Like, I don't like the way he plays quarterback. He doesn't throw the ball on time, on target. He likes to extend plays all the time.
He doesn't really turn the ball over either like that.
No, he doesn't. He just takes sacks and throws the ball into the dirt. He struggled with accuracy at USC. These are not his warts were pimples in college. And then finally, Ben Johnson comes out and says that we're not having Super Bowl level practices.
Well, Ben wouldn't know anything about that anyways, for what it's worth. But I get what he's saying, I guess.
But Ben,
I tell you what, he does know what it doesn't look. He knows what it doesn't look like.
That's right, Ben. If your team is not practicing at a high enough level, that's a you problem. You can't replace the whole team. So, coach better. Create a culture that they're going to buy into. Don't be so rigid. I'm not saying you are. But whatever you're doing, if you're not getting that level of practice and you got to talk to the media about it, don't just look at the players. because yes, they're independent contractors who should be for nothing else do what they should do to compete for their next contract. Like, who cares about the team winning? Who cares about stats? No. You should be doing what you need to do in order to continue to get paid doing it. But Ben Johnson, because he's a media darling, they love him. He's a brainiac. He has all these great plays and stuff.
Yeah, he's the next offensive guru.
Yeah. And we always want to crown these new coaches. But Ben Johnson shouldn't be getting passes. Ben Johnson should have his feet held to the fire too. Ben Johnson should be talked about like, hey, man, he didn't have the most coaching experience. Maybe he should have brought in a Grizzly offensive coordinator who used to be a head coach who he can rely on to help coach him. One thing Mike Lombardi talked a lot about when talking about coaching, hey, who's coaching the coaches? We know that the coaches are coaching the players. But who's coaching the coaches to make sure that they are coaching to a high enough standard to ensure that the players are meeting the standard? Because sometimes the players don't meet the standard because the coaches don't establish the standard and hold the players to that standard, because their head coach is just calling plays and working on the offense, but he's not in the defensive meeting rooms telling his D-line coach what he needs from him to make sure that his defensive line is doing what it's supposed to do, so that the linebackers can do what they're supposed to do, so the DBs can cover, and so his DC can call the right plays to get his offense back on the field so we can score points and win games.
Well, and that's why the CEO head coach has had normally much more longevity and success in the NFL. When you look at those type of guys, you look at John Harbaugh, right? What is he? He's like a CEO type head coach. Mike Tomlin, CEO type head coach.
Shit, Jim Harbaugh,
CEO, his background is offense, but normally he's always had strong defenses, which is the crazy part. If you really look at it.
And he doesn't have flashy, like Jim doesn't have flashy offenses. Even when he scores a lot of points, it's not pretty.
Yeah. Brett Roman at OC or but typically those are the coaches that have much more longevity. Even Andy Reid, right? Andy has, yes, he's a play caller, but like he clearly trusts his OCs, which is why a lot of those guys, minus one, could get a head coaching job after being under his tutelage. But so it doesn't come as a surprise. But we have spent way too much time on the Bears. I wanted to get to this game really quickly just because of the gaffe that happened. Caleb Johnson for the Steelers.
Okay. You
saw it, right? The kick return.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm trying to figure out whose fault is that. Because if he's saying he didn't know that was the rule,
it's his fault.
Okay.
And it's everybody's fault.
That cost them the game, literally.
Yeah, no, it's everybody's fault because the head coach should ensure that the special teams coach is teaching it. The special teams coach should ensure that every player on kickoff return, no matter if you're the front line or you're the returner, should know that, hey, this ball is live until it goes out of the field of play. So if it goes into the end zone, it's a live ball. You can't advance it, but it's a live ball. These are things that I knew before I took an officiating course.
All right.
And I think as a player, you should know the rules have a good grasp of the rules. But more importantly, you should know the rules that are relevant to your job
on the team.
On the team.
If you're a kick returner, you should absolutely know the fucking rules.
Exactly.
Anybody on special teams.
Exactly. And
again, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to know because he's never going to be on special teams.
But I bet he knew.
Yeah, of course he knew. But I'm saying he doesn't have to know. Like DK Metcalf doesn't really have to know if he doesn't want to. It doesn't affect him.
I think though that he was coached properly because he's not the kick returner anymore, or the story is saying that he's getting benched. So if the story,
he might not touch the field like Gainwell is RB2. Ty Warren RB1. Like I don't think he's going to see the field anymore.
Yeah, no, and that was his opportunity to try to get some running back reps, but you make that mistake. Hey, and even if you didn't know, just say you knew. Because if you're making your coaching staff look bad, whether it's true or not, and you're a rookie, it's not going to work out well for you. You know,
No.
you're not Aaron Rodgers. You're not Big Ben when he was there in his prime. You're not a foundational piece here who can call people out and potentially piss people off in the building.
Yeah.
And still be able to come back to that building and go to your locker and get all of the perks. You know what I mean? Like if TJ Watt comes out and criticizes what's going on in Pittsburgh, you know, I would say, hey, how about you get some sacks? You know, but
New Kung Fu Kenny.
but at the same time, he's getting paid $40 million. He ain't going nowhere. That's too much dead cap.
Hey, doesn't it feel so good to know that there's somebody on a Steelers defense getting $40 million a year on that line, and our whole D line combined probably not getting $40 million combined.
Oh yeah,
but we're able to affect the passer and get pressure and put him on the fucking ground. Like I don't know.
I mean, look at what the Jets did last week, but look what they did to the Steelers. That defense sucks.
Oh yeah, Steelers defense is bad. Is what this is. That's all it is. It's not a good defense. And Jalen Ramsey apparently hasn't really played bad, but you know they're moving him around. He's older. Slay is on the. I know he's one of the other corners. He is old, and he was getting cooked in Philly, which is why Philly just let him walk because it's just kind of like, oh yeah, this guy's his best days are behind him.
You know, I was talking to a Steelers fan about it, and he was saying the problem is that yes, Jalen is a good cornerback too, and a good utility player, but they don't have a legitimate cornerback one. And then you got Porter in the slot or wherever because Jalen plays in the slot too. Sometimes you're asking Slay to be a guy that he's not anymore.
Which is a big play, Slay.
Yeah. We've got to. Where did he come from before he went to Philly?
Detroit.
Yeah. They're asking for Detroit Slay, and that guy's gone.
Well, speaking of guys that are gone, let's talk about Mr. Swift. He's gone because he's out here giving parlays away, games away, for anyone that did take the Chiefs. I don't know who did, but I know that there were some people in Vegas that took the Chiefs and that might have been the last leg of their parlay. And when they saw the interception, they couldn't believe it. It was a lot of that going on in there. I'm telling you, it was.
Do you have were you directly affected by Mr. Kelsey?
Maybe, but we're not even gonna get into that. What we will get into is the idea that he's dropping the balls and they're turning into really what could have been a pick six, and setting up the Eagles to continue to push each other's asses all the way to victory. That's what it set up. And you think that the Chiefs will be desperate enough to get that W? Because to me, say what you want, they might not think it. Man, I think the Giants can beat them on Sunday at home. I really do. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I think that they can. Like, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Russell Wilson plays well again and they win. Like,
I mean, especially if they can establish the run. I know that's not really what that team is set up to do, but if they can establish the run, they can. I mean, let's just be honest, man. The Chiefs are really the Chiefs and the Eagles, but the Chiefs are now just playing on their history. They're getting the benefit of the doubt because they are the Chiefs, and we're looking at the names on the jerseys and not the production on the field. Patrick Mahomes is running more than he ever has early in the season. Travis Kelce is dropping balls left and right, important balls. We got Chris.
Big balls. Yeah, big balls. He's dropping big balls.
We got Chris Jones yelling at Jalen Hurts saying, "You ain't even get 100 yards." Hey, big dog, we're winning.
You're fucking
and I just beat you in the Super Bowl. So it would have been different if the Chiefs won the Super Bowl and he said that, like, man, you ain't get 100 yards, bro. Like, yeah, you doing all this popping, but like, we beat y'all when it matters. Nah, the first time y'all played in the Super Bowl, he torched you.
Well, look at it this way. If I'm Jalen Hurts, it's like, hey, big dog, I done beat you 2 times the last 3 games that we done all played. Yeah. I think you should be quiet. Like, you haven't won a football game since before you played us the first time. Like, you haven't won a game since then. And that was almost a year ago. He's like, I think you should be quiet, man. Like, a matter of fact, I think you should stop me then. Like, stop everybody else. like,
hey, your job is to stop us from getting
literally
yards.
from running the ball. I mean, you're a pass rusher, but you literally are on the front line. Like, you do contribute to stopping the run. Like,
and kind of like Kansas City, man. I'm concerned about Philadelphia. No passing touchdowns. AJ Brown 5 catches for 36 yards, and I'm not gonna go on the AJ Brown should want out or AJ Brown wants out. Which, I mean, if I were him, I would want out. I already got my ring. I got my money. I want to put up stats.
right.
But and for me, but you know, it's not a good. I'm concerned. You know, where I didn't like what Zach Robinson called, but again, we got injuries. You know, on our receivers.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but Penix essentially threw for 300 in week 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we were. I mean, again, it just wasn't necessary. Like, as much as I wanted to see him just peel back and just do it, he didn't have to. He literally didn't have to.
But the Eagles haven't been able to pass the ball. And
that's going to be a problem when they play a team that actually jumps out on them.
Exactly. And I think we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt because of their roster, because of the organization, and they've earned it. But if we're just looking at this season and we want to make these snap 2-week decisions, Philly might win that division, but they're not putting fear in anybody. You know, I think our Tampa Bay game, call me biased, by week 10 is going to look totally different to the league.
Yeah.
Because I think Tampa Bay is really freaking good.
Tampa Bay's got a chance to start. I just looked ahead. They've got a chance to start 4-0. I mean, they get the Jets this week, and then next week they do play Philly, but the game's in Tampa. So they can start 4-0.
Yeah.
They beat Tampa last year in Tampa.
Yeah, I mean Philly, yeah.
But they beat them.
But
in the regular season early in the year.
And you know, in our
and they beat them in the playoffs too. The last time the Eagles lost a playoff game. That's who beat them. Yeah. So,
and you know, I told you I think Tampa wins the division, but I think we're a wild card team. So Tampa's good.
Yeah.
Tampa could it. And golly, I'm not glazing Tampa, but maybe I am. Would you be shocked if Tampa made the conference championship this year? Like, take Falcons bias out of it.
No, because they're already starting off on the wrong foot in terms of injury-wise. So they're only going to get healthier and better with the players that they do have out. So, no, I wouldn't be surprised if they went to the NFC Championship game. No.
I mean, statistically, Baker is a top 5 quarterback since he's been in Tampa, and he actually has wins and playoff wins to back it up. Baker's a top 5 quarterback in this league, and we're not giving him enough credit because of how he started. And I was telling a friend earlier, I remember I looked at Baker as being a 3rd-round pick coming out, but a guy who would, you know, not start for a couple of years and then end up being a pretty good quarterback. Now, I didn't think he'd be this good, but that's kind of who Baker is. And we just automatically insert Joe Burrow into this top 4 and he's solidified and there's no argument for him, but he's down again. He's out he's out for the season.
Yeah, damn near. Damn near. I mean, if he's not going to be back, and then even with that injury, the way they made it sound is that it would probably be more than that because he's still got to get, you know, reset back up to do it. Yeah. So he's out the year. Cincinnati, give us a call. Give us a call if you got a little bit of money, a little bit of, you know, decent little pick. We got a guy for you that can help save because they 2-0. So it ain't like they 0-2 like they have in the past few years with him going down. They're 2-0, so they still are, you know, can be a team.
Yeah, yeah.
And if he truly needs that amount of time to get better, he can be back in time for the playoffs, which is when you really want him anyway. So we got a guy.
Yeah, we'll take a 4. We'll eat some of that cap too.
Hey, we got a guy.
You know,
but if not anything less than that, though. Honestly, I wouldn't do it because our season is promising. And if Michael Penix were to get hurt, I would like to have Kirk Cousins in the game. So
I don't want Felipe Franks moving from tight end.
Correct. Or
and stick.
You saw Desmond Ritter, actually. He got somebody signed him.
Why?
It wasn't Cincinnati. I think Minnesota signed him to be the backup.
Good for them.
Yeah, good. they're like, can you do what JJ did against the Falcons? And he's like, I can try. He's just like, no, we know you can. They're like, good. Come on, son. Welcome to the team.
So I want to go on record and say there is no longer a big three quarterbacks in the NFL. Joe Burrow, I don't care about his talent. I don't care about the 2 playoff runs he went on. He's no longer big three. I mean, he's no longer big four, top 4, Mount Rushmore as we speak today. He can't be in that. He can't be in that conversation because your best ability is availability. And if I've got in 5-year career, if I've missed 2 whole seasons from you, I can't comfortably and responsibly build around that for such a key cog in what we do. And it's no knock on his talent. I like Joe Burrow more than I like quarterbacks who are
Josh Allen.
Yeah, I love Joe Burrow.
Me too. Yeah.
Like he's a guy to me. If Lamar was not black, I probably would like Joe Burrow more than I like Lamar. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna throw my biases.
Throw that out there, Lee.
Well, people who listen, they could probably glean that.
Yeah, they know where you're coming from.
But I can't have him there anymore because he's not available. Dak Prescott 2 years ago finished second in MVP. Dak's playing like an MVP. Baker threw for 40 touchdowns and 5,000 yards last year?
Yeah.
Won his division 2 years in a row. You know what I'm saying? Matthew Stafford is throwing sidearm no looks. Got Devontae looking like Devontae of old. He got 100 out of Devontae, 100 out of Puka. Like, he's still slinging it. Goff, I don't like his game, but it works. It's great.
Hey, he's still throwing that bitch too, at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm with you though. Those guys they're available and they're doing it. And they're winning football games. So
yeah, true. We've talked an hour NFL. Where you want to go next?
Because we love ball. We're ball lovers here.
You Kung Fu Kenny.
Honestly, we gotta stay football. I'm surprised you don't have any of your Tennessee memorabilia around there. But just look, I'm just looking.
Oh, you can't see it in the camera. It hangs where it always hangs.
Okay, out of the view of all the Atlanta stuff. I get it. Yeah. To me, typical Tennessee. That's the true power in the T. It's typical. That's exactly what Tennessee does, and nobody should be surprised by that. Yeah. Georgia gets it done. Gunner plays big down the stretch. Kirby does what Kirby does, and that's beat Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hell of a game. I was supposed to be at an event, and I stayed in the truck for a very long time watching this game. Georgia had me worried, because Tennessee did have us on the ropes. Shout out to
on it early, no doubt.
Yeah. Shout out to the quarterback, man. Nico, could have been you. He was throwing the ball all over the yard. But I'll tell you, that was the third leg of a great Georgia sports weekend.
Yeah, all the way around. I mean, the Atlanta Dream won.
Let me not say Georgia sports. Let me say Adam Lee or AC Lee sports weekend. We get a Tech win because I root for Tech to be good. I'm not a Tech fan.
Yeah.
We get a big
Which
loss.
was the more important win, them beating Clemson. That's a signature win.
And in that, somebody lost who we'll get to in a little just real quick. We'll get to him in a second. I like to see him lose.
Yeah.
Then we get a Georgia win against Tennessee. And yes, I'm a UT alum and I support the football team, but I'm a Georgia fan at heart. And a piece of paper doesn't change that.
Yeah.
Then on Sunday, we get a nice 4:00 loss for a team out of Denver.
Yeah.
And then we cap it off with a Falcons win on Sunday Night Football. So, I mean,
nice little piece of filet mignon,
Oh, golly. Tasted
cooked
like
medium rare. I don't know how people like their steak. Some people like it Oscar. Others like it, fucking lobster tail on top. Some people like prawns. Some people just like the truffle butter or whatever. However you like your steak. That's what we got Sunday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But shout out to Georgia Tech, man. I like what they're doing over there, and unfortunately, you probably won't have a coach, the same coach next year, especially if old Billy Nape keeps it up.
Oh yeah, Brent. Well, but Brent Key is a Tech guy. I think it would have to take a lot of money to make him want to leave his alma mater.
I think the money and the resources that he get in Gainesville, it's more than enough.
I'm just saying. I mean, I know that Georgia's a little different. Just like Kirby's never leaving Georgia. Like there is the Alabama job. There is no job that's going to make Kirby leave Georgia. Like so,
yeah, but Georgia
I know
Tech is
Tech
not,
is different, but I'm just saying with Key, I get it. The resources is just different, but Bobby Dodd stayed at Georgia Tech for a long time. He's a UT guy, but yeah, no, I mean it ought to.
Oops, my bad.
All good.
I'm pressing the wrong buttons over here.
Lee, I was gonna say something. I'm not gonna say it because we're on air. I'm gonna say it off there. It would have been a really funny joke, and only people that have seen Family Guy would have gotten it. But nonetheless,
can you put it in the private chat?
Yeah. And honestly, if I could find the video, I'd rather even send that to you.
I had a funny interaction yesterday where I was able to pull out the Family Guy butt scratcher a joke.
Yeah.
In real time, like having a conversation. I was able to pull up that little YouTube video.
Yeah.
And it worked. Let's see what we got. This
was said in a Family Guy episode. And I forgot who he was talking about. He's like that's and Peter is who said it. But it was funny. But
bro, I was watching this weekend. I ended up watching like deleted Family Guy scenes that never aired.
Yeah.
And like some Family Guy's most racist jokes compilation.
Probably ridiculous.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is nasty work. But Dabo's 1-2.
Unranked.
Very defensive with the media. I'm sure I wonder if he did his radio show this week.
I don't know. Did he?
I don't know, but I know some people from Clemson, despite their ACC ties, Clemson is SEC light, and I think some of them may have called in to the good old Paul Feinbaum show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of those guys, they do try and get on.
Hold on. Let's try this again. Let's see if we can get old Feinbaum on.
You reached Paul.
How you doing,
Paul? Show. Who we got here?
We got Cletus from Clemson, South Carolina.
Hey, Cletus. First call of the season. It's good to hear from you. How are you doing?
Paul, I could be a lot better.
Go on. Tell me more.
Here at Clemson, we love Dabo Swinney. He's brought us back to glory. We hear what he does. We see what he's done. He talks down to us and say, "Hey, won this conference pretty much every year. 2 national championships. This, that. Trevor Lawrence, he whose name we do not say in Clemson, greatest quarterback in Clemson history, Deshaun Watson." See, I still love Deshaun because I'm from Clemson. I'm a Clemson guy. I don't care what he does in the NFL in his personal time, but let's get to Dabo and what he's not doing in his personal time. Dabo.
Tell us more, Cletus. What was your biggest takeaway about what happened in Atlanta?
Well, Dabo's not spending enough time in Atlanta getting these boys to come to Clemson. He's not working the portal. He's talking about his name, image, and likeness is Jesus Christ. Well, for Christ's sake, Dabo, we need to see Jesus on the field.
So, Cletus, you didn't like his whole spew when he got on TikTok and he was talking about dripping, doing something with his hands and gloves and how that was going to be enough to get guys to want to play at Clemson?
There's a reason why Brian Kelly doesn't coach here. if we wanted one of these new age shapeshifters type of guys who would do anything to get a player, we don't want them. We want guys who want to come to Clemson football and buy in to what it means to be a Clemson Tiger. And Dabo's forgetting that. He's forgetting it. He thinks it's about Dabo. Dabo, we made you.
Well, Cletus, if you remember, I think Dabo was 9-3 last year. And he was somehow able to win the ACC, although terrible conference, obviously. You guys ended up getting 2 teams in the playoffs, and it was all for nothing. They ended up getting, kind of cracked in the first round.
And that's not Clemson football.
Well, Cletus, I guess my question is, do you not see there's being some light at the end of the tunnel for this Clemson season?
If it's not a national championship, no. It's Clemson football. We don't celebrate Taj Boyd and DeAndre Hopkins. We celebrate Deshaun Watson and that boy from Cartersville, Trevor Lawrence.
Well, Cletus, I've got another caller on the line that you'd probably be really good friends with, and his name's Legacy. And I'm sure that if you are that upset, that Legacy's probably a little bit more upset. And they've cleaned up their act their last 2 weeks. But,
thank you for your time, Paul. Hopefully I'll have to call you back this season.
We appreciate it, Cletus.
Not like watching, I'm not really into like alternative adult entertainment.
Yeah.
But there is nothing like seeing Dabo grab his ankles in the city of Atlanta. So fitting.
He does it every year, it feels like, right? And if not in Atlanta, then certainly somewhere on, what would that be? I guess 85 North?
Yeah.
No, it turns into, what does it turn into to get to Charlotte?
I think it's 85 all the way through, ain't it?
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
285, then 85. Yeah.
I root against Clemson because I just think Dabo is so into himself and that he thinks he is the program and his way is the way, and not that, hey, there's a way to do things. And some of his off the field commentary leads me to believe certain things about his character. And it's one thing to not want to pay guys because you think they may lose their fight, or it may cause division in the locker room because you have much younger players coming into a new paradigm in college football that we're all learning, while also these guys are rolling into money. And we don't know how much money, we don't know what the market is, right? And we don't want to create an overinflated market that we then have to live up to for future recruits. I totally understand that. But when you're just against paying college players and you're against the transfer portal as, like, you know what I mean, as an entity, that's where I begin to question who you are as a human being. Because at the end of the day, we're watching young people get money that they would never, ever get. These career college players who make 6 figures while playing, or even $50,000 a year at 18, bro, that's good money.
Yeah.
And if you're against that, or if you're a coach who can leave, get fired, and go pick up the next job and continue getting checks, but you got kids who are playing for an education or playing to get to the league, whatever the case may be, and you have an issue with them leaving at some point in that process, and you don't want to go get those players because, hey, if he was a Clemson guy, he would be at Clemson. But what if he's good? You know what I mean? Or what if he didn't realize Clemson was the school for him until he got to where he went first and then realized, oh, I like it better over there. I like what they're doing over there. This scheme doesn't work for me. This scheme works so much better, knowing what I know now. It makes you an easy enemy.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like. I feel like for you, it's Dabo is Dabo, and he has his way of doing things. And look, it has worked for what it's worth. Like, it has worked. But he is acting as if things have not changed either. And like all dynasties, they all come falling down. Some of them can rebuild quickly and become that again. Like, obviously, Alabama never really fell off, but there at one point there was a distance of about 3 or 4 years between national championships for Nick Saban, even. So, like, it happens to the best of us regardless, but either way, he's on TikTok. That's just so crazy. They're like Dabo ain't won nothing since he put that shit out. Like,
bro, Dabo wasn't even comfortable in his skin doing that. He's not even comfortable being that type of person. You know.
So you're saying he was almost as bad as BK when he was getting twerked on by his player?
No, because I think BK is willing to do those things to get players.
Yeah.
And try to fit in. Dabo's not a fit in guy. He's a Dabo guy. When you think about people who lead with, you know, your God and country type of people, your my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ types of people.
Yeah.
Those are generally people who want you to fit into what they're doing versus them conforming to what it is that may be best or appropriate to get what needs to be done accomplished. You know what I'm saying? Like the Bible thumpers.
Yeah.
And it's no knock to them, but they're the people who want everybody to believe in God, and they're ministering.
They don't switch anything in their sense. Yeah. It's my way or the highway. That's okay if you don't feel that way, but this is the way. There is no meeting halfway on this type of thing.
You know, we're Christian guys. We grew up in church, all of that stuff. Both of our dads are in ministry.
Yeah.
We have close friends. Like I know one in our group, and I have another close friend in another group who are atheists.
Yeah.
I don't shy away about talking religion to them, but I'm also not going to invite them to church.
Yeah, because I know better.
And
I've been privy enough to be at church with the one in a specific group, but so I've got to see what that looks like. And dog, it don't matter how I feel. I don't want any parts of that. Not at church. I don't like.
No, exactly. But there is a respect.
I'll talk about it in public. I mean, it really ain't even much to talk about. But like, if we do talk about it, we can talk about it. Like, that's not a problem. But like,
right, and we keep those conversations respectful, and they don't try to get us on their side. We're not trying to actively get them on our side, although we hope that one day they have, you know, that blinding light moment on the road to Damascus. Yeah. But we're not going to create these hard lines and make it uncomfortable or just not rock with somebody. And I'm saying that to say Dabo comes off as that type of person. And, bro, you're dealing with young people, bro, and this is dynamic. And now you're dealing with
who don't even know. They just don't even know everything yet, bro. Like, yeah.
Like, some kids don't understand that it's better for them to go to a program to make less money and get developed because they're going to make more money on the back end.
Yeah.
Where some kids, it don't matter, just follow the money. But anyways, we've talked about Dabo too much and not about you want to talk about the Arch Manning and then these media narratives and how they
absolutely. Because we talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago in general before we even did the first college football 6-pack. Like, think about that Arch Manning odds. He was plus 600. He was the favorite to win the Heisman, all this stuff. Arch Manning could play flawless the rest of the season. I don't think he's going to win the Heisman because of, like, you know what I mean? Because of how bad it's already been.
No. He has the media behind him, so he would win it because it's a redemption story.
I think he's cooked for the Heisman. I think it's over. But
you and I also knew that those were not actually him being the most likely person to win the Heisman odds. Those were LA Lakers, Dallas Cowboys championship.
New York
odds.
Yankees, yeah.
Yeah, like, hey, the book can't afford for this person.
Duke basketball.
Yeah. Like, the book can't afford for this person to win this at the odds that should be set because it's going to be so much public money on these people, on these teams, that we're going to get raked over the coals.
Yeah, and we don't have a choice but to do this. And if anything, it entices them enough to bet even more. That way we can take their money because we don't think he's going to win either. He could win, but we don't think he's going to win. And certainly, if it's him against the field, we'll take the field.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that, you know, getting into how much the media crafts these narratives and shape how we view players, because most of us don't have a good naked eye. Like Parlay Pete and I, we watch a lot of sports, we talk a lot of sports, but at the same time, there are people in sports media who we listen to. And sometimes, and I know for me, it kind of verifies what I see, or helps me look at something differently.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody I listen to a lot less Colin Cowherd now because he is so into crafting a narrative that it's not nerdy enough for me. You know what I'm saying? He cares more about telling a story than talking about what's happening and building a story around it. So the media needs to tell people, hey, he's the favorite, but let's get our betting guy over here to tell you why he's the favorite, not just because of who of his talent and his potential or what we think he's going to do. So you get Arch Manning coming in. He's supposed to be first overall pick, Heisman, bring Texas to the national championship.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's supposed to have a dream year, basically.
Yes. And nothing that he's done as a college player speaks to that. Then, I think about Shedeur and the way that Shedeur is supposed to be a top pick, and he falls. And then the Cleveland Browns and they're fucking Shedeur over this and that. But then I hear some football people say, hey, he's good at this stuff, but he's more like a second, third round prospect. Then you throw in the Deion stuff and then the pressure of Deion possibly being the coach and the way the media is going to run with that. And then the way he carried himself in the interviews and how he felt like he was picking us. We aren't picking him. He's not good enough to do that. So we turn off of him, right? Then like with Angel Reese. Angel Reese is good at what she does, but her star shines brighter than her talent is good today. And I think that we get all of these different narratives that shape how people view, but also gets in these players' heads, whether they're believing it or whether they're fighting against it. And I think it fucks with their confidence and their growth and their maturity. I don't care what the media says about Aaron Rodgers. I don't care what they say about Patrick Mahomes. I don't care what they say about LeBron James, Steph Curry. People who are solid, established, and that narrative may motivate them, but it's not going to make them question themselves because they have enough proof of concept to believe that they're who they say they are.
Well, and the films out there that does say that they are who they say they are. They're not. Exactly. They're established. Again,
exactly. But for these young players who are still trying to find confidence in who they are in their profession, I don't care if you've been playing the game your entire life. There is no simulation for pro sports. There's no simulation for pro sports. There's no class you can take to prepare you to be a superstar and receive superstar attention. And I think we need to be careful in how we do this because, the best ones work out no matter what. But most of us aren't the best ones. Even the ones who make it to the best level most of them aren't the best ones. They need the right fit. They need the right culture. They need the right coaching to get the best out of them. And I think because of what the media is doing is stunting these players' growth and affecting their confidence and their mental health and all of this stuff that we talk about, all because the media companies want to sell an ad and then the leagues in turn want to get that money on the back end.
Yeah. Yeah. And it ruins it for those athletes specifically because not only do they not kind of know any better themselves, which is why they kind of are in that position. Because now Arch is different. I hate to say it like that. Arch doesn't really talk, right? And his media availability wasn't made until this year anyways. He couldn't talk the past 2 years anyways because I don't know if it's everywhere or if it's at Texas only. At certain places, they don't even let you talk unless you're upperclassman, period. Right? There is no media availability.
I don't want 18-year-olds talking to the media.
And if I'm Steve Sarkisian, I'm like, well, why would you want to talk to the backup quarterback anyways?
Exactly. You're creating problems
that whole time. Yeah, what are we doing? He didn't play today. or if he did play today, something wrong happened, and I'll address it. You can talk to me about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, no, man. I mean, it'll be interesting. But I think that in general, you look at those situations. I think Shedeur, of course, he's going to get his opportunity. And with Angel, the WNBA and Angel Reese are probably hoping that she gets traded. Or the WNBA probably does not want that to happen. Actually, the more and more I think about that too. Would they really want her to get traded? She's already in a big market.
Yeah, I don't think they want her to leave that market, and I don't think Chicago.
Golden State would be nice though.
The rumor is she wants to go to Dallas.
What are they going to trade? Agumbawale?
I mean, that's what I would do. That's the only asset they have, and I think they're moving away from Enrique. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, well, they'd have to. I mean, that would be the starting point. They definitely have to get her.
yeah,
Probably pick some picks too. Not that Angel's worth that, but just in terms of jersey sales and like,
yeah, we're losing money.
Right. So that would make a ton of sense there. But
hey, Angel, while we're here, keep the main thing the main thing. You're a basketball player first. You're hot for a basketball player. You're not a hot basketball player. You're cute. You're attractive. Don't get me like I don't want that to get lost to me saying that. But it's different.
Hey, there's somebody, there's gonna be somebody that says it too. If you put this up as a clip on TikTok, hashtag it, there's gonna be some BW that comes after you.
Oh yeah, I know, and they're not even gonna realize that I say these things because I want to see her be successful. And unlike most of the Angel Reese supporters, I followed sports and how attitudes and media perception of people affect them, especially when they're not playing when they're doing obvious things that don't look good. Like when Draymond is missing threes and having triple singles, people talk shit about him having a podcast. But when Draymond is actually cooking, you don't say anything. And Draymond is tied to Steph, who's the franchise and has won championships, so he gets more leeway. Angel hasn't done that yet. And to her fans who think everybody who tells her to chill out, they're not hating. They're saying, hey, you ain't one of them ones yet. And these people will kick you out of their league. And then what? Okay, you can go to Unrivaled, but that doesn't have the same backing as the WNBA. And all these brand deals that you have, that stuff goes away.
And right, because now you're seen as almost like a malcontent within your own league, not even just your team, like within your own league. And you're standoffish. You want to fight, and people think that you want to, because of the media perception of stuff. People think you want to fight the actual face of the WNBA, whether she's truly it or not. She is it. Yeah, that girl is the face of the league. That's the reality of the situation. She might not be the best player in the league.
She's not.
We won't know because this year she was hurt, really. But like, she might not be. Doesn't matter. She still is the one that a lot of people, she's the most popular player in the WNBA, one way or another.
Most popular player in history.
Yeah,
like, I mean,
in gender, period.
Yeah, I mean, she got y'all off the Greyhounds and flying private. You know what I mean? Like she. And then they'll paint her as the angry black woman, and then you'll feed into those angry black woman stereotypes. And then people who don't understand your personality type are going to cast you as an angry black woman.
Yeah.
And we don't do that. But we're going to call stuff out, and then we're going to make jokes and talk shit because it is what it is. And as a man, on my Whitlock shit, because that segment he did on the eye candy, that was cringy.
It's crazy because I'm like, but I feel like with that, he was feeding into
he's
to what he had already done.
Yeah.
And people thinking that it was like funny but true.
Yeah, yes.
You know what I mean?
I like the segment. I like him doing it, but listening to it was cringy. But Angel, I promise you, you don't want to not be the WNBA player that's hot, the hot WNBA player, or however I said that shit earlier.
Yeah.
And have to compete with the chicks who are just hot.
Well, because it's not fair. It's actually not even an even playing field for something like that. Just like if we were telling the hot chicks, like, well, let's see if you can play basketball.
Exactly.
Like, nobody cares because that's not what we're here for. But looks-wise, if we're going to do that, that is what we're here for. It's not fair.
And Angel looks the same on and off the court. It's not like, stud butt over here who's study on the court and then gets dolled up and it's like, ooh, boy.
You're not really talking about the stud buds though, are you?
Yeah. You saw the video.
Did they look good dolled up off the court?
Oh, you didn't see it?
No.
Oh, my man's asleep. Hold on. Let me see where it's at in my DMs. But yeah, one of the stud buds, I don't remember. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Check your DMs.
All right, hold on.
And while he's looking at that, you see the old Dame Dash interview on the Breakfast Club.
Well, I was going to keep it at sports first and just talk about how America's sweetheart, Molly Querim, is out. Yeah, might as well just finish up the sports aspect of Molly Querim out at First Take. It's definitely surprising, not from the standpoint of, am I shocked that she's like that she. The shocking part is that they had said it came out Sunday or Monday or whatever, and it was that she's not coming back to ESPN after this year, and it's like okay, but then it turns into Stephen A. getting on the show and basically said, or her putting it out on Instagram that she's done her last show already. So it makes you wonder what the reason for the leaving is, and how does that come out as a leak that it's at the end of the year to then immediately?
Well, so let me find the post. Hopefully it's still here.
This is one of the buds?
Yeah.
She looks completely different.
Yeah. So yeah, Molly had a post, and essentially what I took from the post was that that story wasn't supposed to get leaked, and then once it got leaked, she said, "Fuck y'all niggas, I'm out of here. I'm not coming back." And listen to Marcellus Wiley. They lowballed her. They gave her the hey, quit contract.
Okay.
And I believe that, and just seeing the direction that they're going, seeing how they're putting Peter Schrager to work. Oh boy, they are working.
They're working Peter Schrager. They told Pete when they got him from NFL Network, they're like, so look, you're going to get the complete opposite deal of Troy and Joe. They're like, you are the car wash guy. Matter of fact, you're the damn manager at this point.
You're working Sunday morning, Sunday night, Monday mornings, Monday through Friday. Just book it. And we might send you, and we're gonna send you on the road to Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
So
Saturday's gonna be your free day, buddy.
Exactly. So when you start thinking about the figures you have to pay out to those people, Molly only does one thing.
Yeah.
And she's at the top in her industry, so she's making millions.
Well, and Whitlock made a good point though of what he thought, because it is kind of like, could she be pivoting to just do, news as opposed to sports news, right? Like,
I think she has to, though. I don't think that would have been her choice.
Because she's not going independent.
Who the fuck wants to listen to her?
I know, that's what I'm saying. So she's not going independent, but could you see her as Good Morning America? Maybe.
Yeah, no, I could see her doing regular daytime news. Yeah. I'm not going to predict what she's doing. I'm just more interested in talking about the business of her leaving, because and me, if I'm running content at ESPN and I'm looking at the numbers, why are we paying a host this much money when we need to be able to bring these other people in who work multiple shows for us? And we can get a fucking intern out of college. It's not like Stephen A. listens to anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then at that point, I guess that is kind of what it is in a weird way. It's oddly enough, it's Stephen A. that's kind of costing her money in reality. Like,
did you see Stephen A. and Shannon at the fight?
No, they didn't. So they showed Stephen A. and everybody booed him.
No, you didn't see the video?
No, but I'm saying I saw Stephen A. literally when they put the camera on him while we're in there, and he got booed.
Well, yeah, he sucks.
He got booed. People booed him.
I think Stephen A. is now the guy who gets the numbers because he's hated more than he gets the numbers because he's loved. Yeah. I think people hate listening to Stephen A. and argue. They want to argue.
He's a polarizing figure now.
Exactly. But no, Shannon and Stephen A. ran into each other at the fight, and Ocho was there, and they had a little conversation. You can't tell what was said, but I don't think it was the nicest conversation.
Really?
Yeah. I think Shannon had some things he wanted to say to Stephen, and
they knew they would run into each other.
Well, yeah.
These guys, they've talked before this. This is not the first time they've talked since that nigga got fired. I don't believe that.
I'm not gonna say that because they didn't have a relationship until Shannon was a free agent looking for a job, and Stephen A., the black voice in sports, the executive producer of the #1 show for 10 years, 11 years, on ESPN and ESPN2, could just offer that olive branch to his brother Shannon to help pull him up like Stephen A. does. That's why he brought in Cam Newton. Again, he's giving brothers opportunities. So, I ain't saying Stephen A. got rid of Shannon or Molly, but he didn't try to keep.
Again, if he wanted to make the call, he could have made the call.
Yeah, but hey, man, we got 30 more minutes, and there's some culture stuff that we should probably talk about. I'm going to see Cardi B on Monday.
I know you're pretty pumped about that, right? She's pregnant, right?
Yeah,
Again,
I know.
With Stephon Diggs' child this time. Congrats to her.
Yeah, congrats to her, man. She does not want to. She does not want to be an artist.
She makes enough money, and clearly she's pretty fertile.
But that
seems to be what it is. But then again, that was probably done on purpose. Well, it was. There's no problem. That wasn't no accident.
She doesn't have to tour. And
but didn't she just announce the tour though?
Did she?
I swear, type it in. I thought that's like how the announcement kind of came out, which is odd. So I'm guessing that she knew she was pregnant and she set up to do the tour immediately after the baby drops, and then that's kind of it.
Oh, yeah. So her tour starts in February. That makes sense. She's not going to be in Atlanta.
She's not going to do any of those shows unless she's going to do it pregnant. My thought was that it was going to be after the child. But then again, that wouldn't really help support the album, I guess, if she waited almost a whole year to do it. But
it doesn't make it doesn't make sense to drop an album in September and tour in February.
I'm just saying, her being up there pregnant, it's like, does anyone really want to see her just walking around with her belly out, like talking? Well, that's basically what that's going to be.
Well, as pregnant as she looked coming out of court, and it's September, October, November, January, February, that's 4 months. If she's about to go on tour, that means she's going to already have pushed that baby out by then.
So then she's super pregnant right now. See, yeah. I didn't know that she was super pregnant right now.
I don't pay enough attention to her stomach when I see her to pay attention to that.
Yeah, I didn't notice it. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, oh, I didn't know. Like,
but I'm looking forward to the album that's coming out Friday. I'll be up midnight listening to that on Thursday. Shout out to Cardi B.
A Young Thug album too, I thought.
I saw on the internet it got pushed back a week, which is smart.
On his end.
Yeah, nobody should go head to head against Cardi.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's just a bad first week for you. Even if she doesn't do what people think she may do, she's still going to do more than Young Thug.
Oh yeah,
and you want that #1 album week 1.
Yeah, no. There's no doubt about that.
Dame Dash, he was responsible for some #1 albums.
Whew. Yeah. Yeah, man, Dame's responsible for a lot.
I mean, I would love to interview Dame Dash. You and Dame Dash would get along though, because you never called another man boss. You work for the family company. He might not like that you have a podcast and you talk about gossip, but he gonna tell you your OG is your father. He's gonna respect that. You don't have an OG like Wendy Williams.
No, I don't. Wendy Williams is not somebody I've ever aspired to be. Does not mean that she did not do her damnedest in that field, because she's definitely one of the, she opened up for people like, I hate to compare it, but like people like Lala, Anthony aren't who they are kind of without Wendy, like your Wendy Williams of the world, like in a weird way.
Charlamagne the God's not who he is without Wendy Williams.
I mean, I hate to say it, even Sway to a degree. I'm not saying that that's really, but I'm just saying they all did kind of the same stuff. This MTV raps, talking and interviewing people,
I don't think Joe Budden is who he is without Wendy Williams, because Wendy Williams is proof of concept that you can do urban black gossip and attract a national audience.
Yes.
Or actually not just attract a national audience, but actually like mobilize that national audience, because she goes from being a radio person to having a nationally syndicated television show that, that was my introduction to Wendy Williams, the Wendy Williams TV show, not the radio, because she wasn't on V103.
No, exactly. Which a lot of them do come from V1, like they do be coming from V103 though. That's the crazy
Oh
part.
yeah, because they syndicate some, it's one of the local radio stations that plays the Breakfast Club. We have an iHeart affiliate down here.
Did you know that speaking of Lala, did you know that she went to Redan High School?
Yes.
I did not know that. And that Swiss Beats apparently went there too at one point.
Didn't know that Swiss Beats went to Redan, but I knew Lala went to Redan.
I did not know that. Wow. Shout out to Stone Mountain. Anyways, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know that.
Hey, but from watching that Dame interview, how do you think we're doing an in-person interview and there's like hostility with us and the guest, or one of us and the guest? Like, how do you think if I had hostility with an interview with the guy we were interviewing, and I was throwing in the little jabs like Charlemagne, and you as my co-host know that I'm actually frustrated?
Yeah.
Because Charlemagne was visibly frustrated during that interview because he was trying to get jokes off that weren't funny just to make a joke.
Yeah.
And Dame was cooking him, even though Det Dash was funny. And what was it? Det Jam Records. Those were funny. Yeah. A lot of the jokes.
Dep Jam.
Yeah. Like how would you handle that? Oh golly, let me not sit like that. I'm getting my comfortable position like you. I'm talking to a woman.
Well, if first of all, the one thing that stood out to me probably more than anything was that, and I knew that he was hinting at it before he said it. Before he called him, he said, "I think you're gay." He said it even while setting up the Wendy Williams jab to a degree. Yeah. He was setting it up to basically, he was already calling him gay without calling him gay.
Yeah, it was.
But then because he kept like trying to like talk over him and stuff, and then he's looking at him, and then Dame started going back into his memory bank of, man, I ain't never heard this nigga talk bad about Jay-Z. But he'll talk bad literally about anybody else but Jay-Z. And then he just starts to think about, what is your relationship to Jay-Z? Why don't you say, why is it that he can do no wrong, but we all can, basically? I probably, if I'm Charlemagne, you don't end the interview, though. You can't do that.
I'm at, like,
ask if you're frustrated, though. Like,
I'm saying you're envy. I'm Charlemagne in the interview.
Right.
How, like, what would you do?
I try to repurpose and focus the questions on what we're really there to talk about.
So you wouldn't lean into my jokes?
No, I would, but I'm saying, but in general, if I start to notice that tensions are rising on both ends, and like now it's getting childish, because that is basically what it turned into. It's starting to just get childish. I mean, I'm like, it's. I hate to say it like this. It's like, man, we're running a fucking radio show over here. You know what I mean? Like, I would want to get it back on topic to business. Like, I think it's great to have those moments because they have them like just on that show in general. They just do. And I guess they were maybe overdue for one overall. Yeah, but at the same time, it is still a platform where you're, supposed to be interviewing this man and asking him about whatever it is, whether he truly is the new face of Revolt or whatever, or whatever they got going on, even with that. It's just interesting.
Yeah, no, there are a few things that I took away from it. For one, Dame went up there with an agenda. He wanted to get some jokes off. He also wanted to get a point across. I think that his approach and his demeanor makes it very difficult for flowing conversation because he doesn't want to get cut off at any point. In an interview, sometimes you got to cut them off because they'll go too far in left field.
And that's kind of what happened there.
Yeah, and he was cutting people off because, again, he came up there with an agenda. And I think one of the keys to being a great interviewer is allowing the interviewee to flow while also still steering and controlling the conversation. And that didn't happen. And then it gets into the petty, like calling him broke. And then he's like, yeah, but my house is bigger than yours. And
and that's what I mean. It's just childish. Like
it's childish, yes. But if you're up there to kind of explain to clear the air with some people who've been speaking on you in a way that you feel is inaccurate, your point in saying my house is bigger than yours is, hey, dog, I'm living good. You know how much you pay for your house. My house is bigger than yours. I pay more for my house or more in my market I pay a higher percentage in my market than you do. So don't call me broke, you know? And we talked about not having money and like, hey man, my kids went to college for free. My kids have houses. If I owe the government this much money in
His
back
daughter's
tax,
got his own she's on her own TV show.
right. If I owe this much money to the IRS, it's got to come from somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or if I owe this much in child support, they are deriving this figure from something. So just because I don't use my money the way that y'all do, to me it sounds like he just keeps his money in motion and in business accounts so he can cover his expenses while not having to pay everybody and taking money out of accounts and opening up
Come on,
new
tell us what you really want to say, Lee. Come on, we already spoke about it in pre-production.
Oh, I think he's a scammer.
There you go.
But I think he's scamming in one of the most legal ways possible. Like he is paying high price attorneys to do that, to understand how he can manipulate the tax code. It's nothing any different than other rich people are doing.
Yeah, Donald Trump does it all the time.
Yeah, but they're not
like
in black.
Prior to him being president, he was doing it a lot.
Yeah, but like these, and he made the comparison to Trump in the interview, and we just don't have these figures in black culture who do things that way. And one of his agendas, which I'm good with, is, hey man, y'all are speaking on business that you do not understand in a way that's misinforming the people, and your platform is too large to be misinforming the people to this level.
It's spewing out that type of stuff because at that point it does. I can understand where he's coming from. It can kind of turn into ignorance, right? Like
exactly.
So now I totally feel exactly where he would be coming from with something like that. But all in all, it's even crazier because he didn't get his credit today, but they actually flushed that shit out so quickly because they interviewed Marlon Wayans today.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I didn't watch it, but hey, one last thing on this Dame thing.
Yeah.
Entertainment is important, and when you're running an entertainment platform, you do need some of those viral crazy moments. But I also think that if you are a platform that is not just entertainment, right? Like 85 South Show, I go there just to laugh, and I don't really go there. But if I'm listening to it, it's for the laughs. I don't want any substance. If you are a place that thrives on that says substance is part of your formula, and especially in black media, I think it's so important not to just turn important learning points into viral clicks that are just niggas being ignorant. Because you and I can watch that interview and weave through, all right, this is just entertainment ignorance. This is real talk. Ignorance, real talk. Or we can pull the real talk out of the ignorance.
Right.
But the majority of the world that likes black culture is not of black culture and does not speak our language, and they don't understand these things.
Yeah,
and they just think it's ignorant niggas being funny, and then you got the shade room
perpetuates it even more,
perpetuating it, and not even give it. But again, the shade room, you shouldn't go there to learn. Which I know they carry themselves as like a news blog type deal. They muddy the waters.
That shit's garbage on us. That shit's
garbage.
Hey, that's the garbage that's outside. And it's a matter of, hey man, you want to be that raccoon that goes through it and eats? Because that's what raccoons do, right? They go through people's garbage and that's how they eat.
Yeah. They go through my anytime.
So if you want to be a raccoon, then the shade room's for you.
You know what? I like what you did there. That was
You like that, right? I didn't say anything about anybody, but that's what raccoons do. They eat out of garbage.
Hey, can we just really quickly while we're halfway serious and like 3 minutes quickly, talk about the travesty that happened at Delta State? I don't have many details because that's too much for me. But I did see that it was reported to the parents that the young man passed away in his room, and then later came out that he was hanging from a tree. Maybe suicide, I don't know, but the idea of a black person hanging from a tree in Mississippi, especially right now with some of the racial stuff we have going on in the country and some of the things that we think may be distractions from bigger things like the Epstein files, it leaves me uneasy.
Right.
And that's it. That's all I got. It's uneasy. It's tragic. It's sad, but
Well, wait, clear that up for me. So it was originally reported that he passed away in his room, and then it went to he was hung, or did his parents come out and say no, he actually died in his room? He was
no.
not hung.
What the university, police, whoever disclosed to the parents was that he passed away in his room.
But that's not truly what happened.
No, he was hanging from a tree.
So, well, there goes a lawsuit right there.
Yeah,
Delta State, they might be getting ready to try and join up with Mississippi Valley or something, because if you lied about something like that and trying to say that something like that, versus because they have to think that an autopsy was going to be done anyways. So I don't. Because unless they told them he hung himself like in his room, which I don't remember there being. I guess, did we have fans? I don't think we had fans. We didn't have fans at Morehouse, so I don't know if they would have them at Delta State. But it's kind of harder to hang yourself from something, especially if there's not at least a fan in there.
True, and I wish I would have known where I got this from so I could cite the source. Because if it's a cock source, like throw out everything that we said. No, I'm just being honest, because
I'm with you.
you get stuff you get stuff from places, and you look and see the interaction with the page, and you try to give it some level of validity. But I don't know, man. There's something else we got on the list before we get to the picks. Oh, tell me about Vegas, man. Like, how you doing? We hadn't played.
The fight was awesome. I think so. Just as a disclaimer for anyone that watches this, I do not pay for fight tickets, guys. That MGM does it for me. Shout outs to the great people at MGM, especially my rep, Sarah. Sarah, you're awesome. I know you're probably not going to see this, but if you ever do get to see it, just know that I'm giving you your flowers, because I do appreciate you for all that you do for me. But it was awesome. I didn't get the seats that I wanted, so I was sitting kind of up top, but honestly, didn't bother me. It was kind of really cool view, to be honest with you. But I was in the nosebleeds, no doubt. Anyone that follows the page would have seen that I did post it. So
follow, watch the Winning Pod on Instagram, YouTube.
There we go, guys. And it's right there across the bottom. And also, you should subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts from. But no, all in all, it was awesome. The fight was great, obviously. We all kind of backed Terrence Crawford on this one, or at least I know I did. I felt pretty good about his chances anyways. It was a little shocking anyways that, they kind of just, didn't, I don't know, they didn't have it set up anywhere else. Like, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was great. It was great. It was truly a great experience. And, yeah, I enjoyed it. But Vegas itself is always an awesome time, too. There's that aspect of it. But, yeah, good time. Good time. Lee's got me over here trying to kind of pull through here while he's getting his stuff together. Somebody tell this man.
My bad, man. When I walked out to get my notepad, I accidentally unplugged the microphone. And then it had me muted, and my mouse is all the way up there. But we're back. Ooh.
Yeah, no, but all in all, good time, obviously. I won like $200 off this like Hispanic dude that was sitting next to me. I actually have his Instagram. I wonder if I should add him. Maybe I should, because then I can kind of add him if we clip that up. But yeah, quick $200 off of him. It was pretty easy. But nonetheless, yeah, it was good. It was good. And I wasn't surprised that Terrence Crawford won.
I was somewhat surprised, but I was pleasantly surprised. As I said on this show, I picked Canelo because I didn't think Terrence Crawford would be able to bump up in weight and win like that. But again, pleasantly surprised, and I had some great commentary on the fight that you'll never hear.
Yeah. So, but you said real quick, because we do have a little bit of time, because I'll speed through the picks. So yeah. Because I don't like to do the editing at this point. But yeah, you said there was something wrong with the commentary. So what was wrong? Because didn't Kellerman do the fight?
Oh, yo, Kellerman was fine. The play-by-play was great.
Okay, good. I mean, obviously, I only see him at the end, when they do the winner. So I don't see it anywhere else. Yeah.
So So boxing, unlike, football, baseball, basketball, it's a combat sport. And, similar to football, but again, there's a lot more people who are known and play football because it's a team sport.
Yeah.
The wear and tear of the game can have an effect on you and your motor skills and your speech. It just sometimes it takes things longer to get from your brain to your mouth, and into the microphone.
Right.
And hey, boxing, I know you got your greats, you have your legends, but a lot of those guys got their ass kicked for a very long time, whether in training or in their actual fights. And it's a tough listen when you have a boxer speaking like a 3-year-old where they're looking like you can like hear them buffering, kind of like I am right now because I don't want to say exactly what I want to say. But no, really, dog, we got to get some better boxing commentary. Max was great. I got one little knock on Max, but for the most part, Max was great. But golly, it took so long to get the color commentary to fill in the blanks and not giving as much detail as we'd like to hear because there's only so much time. And I get you're doing your best, and once you get in that seat, it's not your fault. It's just a product of the career you chose. But maybe we need to get some boxing coaches. Maybe we need to get some like boxing media, some guys who really know boxing. Maybe they were amateur fighters and it just didn't work out for them. Guys who aren't household names. To just
who called it with Max?
I don't know and don't care. He wasn't good. He wasn't good. I'm just saying, dog. I appreciate a coherent flow, and the thing is, we don't care about the commentary, the name of the commentator in boxing because we're paying for this fight.
Yeah,
because of the fighters. We're going to be here either way. It's not like a football game where you can choose between two channels if it's not a standalone game.
Yeah,
so
I was told, and obviously, that fight it didn't start until about 1 a.m. We were thinking it was going to start at midnight.
No, it was a late start.
Yeah, it was super late.
It
was well worth the wait.
Oh, absolutely. And Max, the one thing I didn't like that Max did was they're in the ring and he tells Bud Crawford that he is the GOAT of this generation. And the thing about GOAT is all time.
He's won across. I think he's an all-time great.
You can call him an all-time. You can call him an all-time great. I'm not refuting any of that. I don't watch enough boxing to even weigh in on who should be in those conversations.
Yeah.
But you can't be the GOAT of a generation. You can be the greatest of a generation, but the GOAT, the GO is greatest of. The AT is all time. That transcends every generation. And we use this GOAT term entirely too much. You can't say he's a GOAT. You can say he's a great. You can say he's a legend. She's a legend. But you can't say a GOAT because when we're talking about all time, there is only one GOAT. Now, if you say this person is the GOAT in basketball, the GOAT in football, the GOAT in baseball, but there's only one GOAT in sports. There's only one GOAT in a singular sport. You can say Bud Crawford is the GOAT from Nebraska, or he's the GOAT from whatever training pipeline he came through, or he's the GOAT of his weight class. You know what I'm saying?
His story's awesome too, by the way.
Yeah, man, he got shot in the head and drove himself to the hospital. But you cannot.
And then his girl, he's been with this girl. He's got like 4 or 5 kids with her.
Oh yeah,
he is honestly everything that people don't like about like that they don't want like people to see.
Yeah, they don't want to see all that nigga shit.
He's a hard worker, dude's just from Nebraska. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I like the story. I'm glad I bet on him, and I'm glad I picked him to win. But
speaking of betting and picks, Parlay Pete, you know what I think it's time for?
A little college football 6-pack.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Parlay Pete's college football 6-pack.
666. All right. So again, we're always going to kind of abbreviate the college picks. I mean, we could give you a little bit more, but everybody gets to kind of listen. So we'll just start off. Oregon State at Oregon. Tough backdoor cover on Oregon, by the way, last week. It was brutal for me. But nonetheless, I like Oregon's minus 34.5. Oregon State is not a good football team. They're going to really thump them. Next, you got Georgia State at Vandy. Little get-back sex opportunity for Vandy. Give me Vandy minus 27 at home. I think they're clicking on all cylinders. And Diego Pavia's mom has got a date with Theo Vaughn, apparently. We'll see about it. Next, you got West Virginia at Kansas. Pretty inspiring win by West V last week. I like them to cover at Kansas, plus 14.5 West Virginia. Next, UNLV at Miami, Ohio. Don't really understand why, but UNLV is only like a 1-point favorite, but we're just going to take them on the money line. UNLV on the money line. Next, you got a good old-fashioned SEC showdown that's one of the newer SEC showdowns. Auburn at Oklahoma. Give me Oklahoma money line. I think Mateer really should maybe be at the top of the Heisman list. And then finally, we got South Carolina at Missouri. This is honestly contingent on Sellers playing, but this is why I'm not going to take them on the money line. If he's playing, you take South Carolina on the money. If he's not playing, take him on the points. I still feel like they should cover. So plus 10.5, South Carolina, contingent on Lenore Sellers.
All right, so we got Oregon minus 34.5.
Yep.
Vandy minus 27.
Yep.
West Virginia plus 14.5.
Yep.
UNLV on the money line.
Yep.
Oklahoma on the money line.
Yep.
South Carolina plus 10.5. If Lenore Sellers is out, and South Carolina on the money line if he plays.
There you go.
All righty. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Parlay Pete's NFL 6.
I think we all love how epic you are for this part, Lee. But nonetheless, let me go through these really quickly, seriously. Arizona Cardinals at San Francisco 49ers. Have no idea why the Cardinals are kind of this big of a dog. Give me the Cardinals on the money line. Next, Denver Broncos at Los Angeles Chargers. I like the Chargers minus 2.5 at home. Denver just doesn't impress me as much. But Houston Texans at the Jaguars. Again, I don't think Houston starts 0-3 as bad as – I'm down on C.J. Stroud, by the way. That's why we traded him in fantasy. But let me get the Texans on the money line. They still have a great pass rush, like great defense. Next, you got the Rams at the Eagles. I like the Rams to cover the plus 3.5. I really do. Give me the Rams plus 3.5. Next, Falcons at Panthers. If we lose this game, I'll never touch a Falcons game again. Just give me the Falcons on the money line. We're not even going to play around with it. We should win this game. And then finally, we got the Monday night game, Lions at Ravens. I like over 53. I expect there to be points scored.
All right. So we got Cardinals on the money line.
Yep.
Chargers minus 2.5.
Yep.
We've got Texans on the money line.
Yep.
We got Rams plus 3.5.
Yep.
We got Falcons on the money line.
Yep.
We got Lions at Ravens over 53.
Yeah. I expect there to be points.
If you like it, I love it.
And when you love it, that means it's time for
Lee's 3.
Lee's 3. Lee's 3.
Hey,
like
you keep your pace.
It echoes on your end.
You keep your pace, and I'll adjust to you.
Okay.
New Kung Fu Kitty.
Wow.
All right, so for Lee's 3, I'm going to go all NFL.
Okay.
When you give me Sean Payton, when you bet against Sean Payton, more times than not, listeners, I'm going against Sean Payton. Give me the Chargers.
It gets really hard.
Oh, golly. My Chargers minus 2.5. I don't like the Texans going 0-3 either. They could have won that game against the Buccaneers, and I think the Buccaneers are a good team. So give me the Texans on the money line. That's easy money for me. I don't believe in what Liam Cohen's doing down there. And
what about Cartersville?
He likes to throw picks.
Okay.
And then we got the Falcons out here, so give me the Falcons on the money line. But hey, Parlay Pete, we're at we got 40 seconds left, 30 seconds left. Anything else you want to say?
Not much else here. Super proud of the Falcons. Rise up.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the show. Hey, Falcons rise up. Hopefully we're 2-1 next time you see us. Y'all have a great weekend. We out.